Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hope everyone's had fantastic Saturday, chill, relaxing vibes. Of course, you would expect that from Saturday. At the same time, it's not that great, is it? Definitely is not that great because I'm not gonna lie, Gabriel Magalhaes is injured. How long? Who knows? Genuinely, for how long? Nobody knows. Groin, muscular, go figure. But at the end of the day, we will have to wait and see how bad the injury is for him, of course. But ultimately, yeah, it's not a good sign. Two international breaks without injuries, and now two injuries in one international break in terms of Calafiori and in terms of Gabriel Magalhaes. It's not great. It's not great. But then again, it kind of, ironically enough, I know it's a very dark irony to some extent, but it kind of segues very nicely in today's stream. In today's stream with the title Arsenal versus Manchester City. Will it happen again? Who has the better squad? And will the story of Arsenal versus Manchester City battle have the same ending as we have seen before? Because it looks like the title race, at the moment at least, will long term, if you're looking long term, shape up between Arsenal and Manchester City. Liverpool have fallen back behind. Obviously, they can catch up. We'll see how that's gonna go. But ultimately, for now, it's it's Arsenal and Man City, and we have squared up against Man City on few occasions. Let's just put it that way. We have been 8 points clear. We did nothing. We lost. We have chased them, and we didn't catch them. So in Premier League terms, we definitely have not been that great against them. If we talk about the trophy in the cups, let's just put it that way, we beat them in the FA Cup and we won it and everything. We have beaten them for 2 community shields, which is hee haha, happy days. It is what it is. But ultimately, when it has come down to the proper time, when the pressure really is on, we have basically folded. We have lost to them. We have not done anything as chasers or as the leaders. Otherwise, Man City have done it both. So definitely, that is the question that is gonna talk. That's gonna happen today on the stream, of course, people. Now, there potentially, if I get an answer, we have some scheduled person to join the stream if they have time. If anyone who is in the chat, I see Abs is here. Big up, Abs. Hope you're doing well today. I love the new profile picture, by the way. Big up to you for that. If you have time as well, you can jump on. We can just chat overall about this Arsenal versus Man City because it looks like it's going to be the talking point once again. Let's just put it that way. People, go subscribe to Abs as well. Go subscribe to Abs because if you haven't, you are missing out on a lot, to say the least. He does streams, he does watch-alongs, he has panel shows, he has it all. He definitely has it all. So if you haven't already, go drop him. Go drop him a sub. Top guy, great content. Definitely someone you should keep an eye on and look and go watch him 100%. Big up Mubarak. People, like, subscribe, and actually, subscribe, and don't forget to leave your thoughts about Arsenal versus Man City in the chat. Big up Mubarak, and Gabriel's injury definitely is a worry. I'm not gonna lie, 100% it is a worry, which definitely for Arsenal fans, it's scary times. It is scary times, definitely. And how that's going to pan out, obviously, we don't know the extent of the injury, right, at the moment. But it could damage us. It could damage us short term. It could damage us long term, depending on the extent of Gabriel's injury. So time only will tell. Time only will tell because it's not great, is it? It's not great because for me, Gabriel in the last year and a half or so has been the best defender at Arsenal. And losing him definitely will do damage to us, 100%. And also, we talked about this, by the way, Gabriel's injury on set pieces. How that's going to affect set pieces, because technically Rice and delivery is going to be there, right? For now, at least. But Gabriel tends to be on the end part of these set pieces. He tends to score them, or he tends to get first the ball and lay it off to a secondary person who basically then slots it in, or we do our play, what we have drawn up for the set piece. So definitely that is going to be a big question mark. Now, who's going to take his place if he's out for longer time? And it comes also at the least opportunistic moment for Arsenal imaginable in terms of Spurs, Bayern Munich, Chelsea away, Aston Villa, and everything. Definitely, it's not looking great. Obviously, if Gabriel is out for small time, for not very long time, it's good in terms of that it's not going to bother us as much. If he's out for extended period of time, definitely it could be very, very troublesome, to say the least. Big up Kwaja. Big up Kwaja. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I'm good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Smash the likes and subscribe, people, if you haven't already. Smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely. Now, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a tiny second. I'm trying to sort some things out. 7 likes so far. Keep smashing them, people. Keep smashing the likes. If we can get to like 10 likes for now and maybe 15, 20 by the end of the stream, that would be phenomenal, to say the least. 100%. And yeah, go. Let's do this, people. Like the stream and subscribe. It was groin injury. So Gabriel has groin injury, apparently. Like, for me, it's muscular or groin, one or the other, and how it's gonna pan out, definitely time only will tell. Big up AJ. Big up AJ. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope this day has treated you well despite Arsenal's injuries. Yeah, people, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Big up. Good morning. Good morning to Fusion is not jazz. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So far, so good. It's about to end. The first day is about to end of the weekend. Let's be real. So we'll see how that's going to end. But overall, yeah, it's not the greatest of ones. So do we go Timber, Saliba, Hinkapie, Skelly as the back four? Or do we go Mosquera, Saliba, Hinkapie, Timber as left back? Timber as left back. I think Arteta most likely is going to play Hinkapie or Calafiori as a left back. Well, left center back. Hinkapie or Calafiori are going to be center backs. Although Mosquera also can play there. He played quite a bit last season as a left-sided center back. So we'll see how that's going to go. We'll see how Arteta envisions this. But that's obviously the big if. If Gabriel is out for longer period of time, let's just put it that way. Because if he's out for, let's just say, a week, it's not going to affect us almost at all. But if he's out for, let's just say, a month, then it's worry. Then it's a definitely big worries. If he's out for even longer, then it's even worse, to say the least. It's going to be even worse. Let's be real, people. So time will tell. But for me, personally, I would try out Simba, Saliba. I would say Mosquera, Calafiori, or Hinkapie, but time only will tell. Congrats on 984 subs. Big up to you, and thank you for everyone who is subscribing. Thank you to everyone who is subscribing. Much appreciate that. 11 likes. Big up to you all. Let's push it up to 15, people. Let's push it up to 15. 16 away. Yeah, we are 16 away. Exactly. So another question. Who does Rice aim from on the corners? Exactly. That for me is the big question now, because for me, Gabriel was the lamppost there. He was the focal point, main focus, because he is at the receiving end of Rice's corner or Saka's corner or whoever, right? He's at the receiving end in terms of shooting, heading, laying off the ball. What are we going to do now? Who is going to be that guy? Because based on at least what at least I have seen from Arsenal's center back positions and how we do the set pieces, not everyone possesses the same abilities Gabriel does in terms of positioning, in terms of physical abilities to muscle off defenders and everything. So definitely it's going to be other defenders are not as imposed. They don't impose as much threat. Let's just put it that way. Mosquera and Saliba or Hinkapie and Saliba. I think Mosquera and Saliba. Maybe then it's going to be Hinkapie and Saliba. Maybe Calafiori is going to go center back. Go figure, to be honest. Mosquera and Hinkapie as center back options. Yeah, we have two. We'll see. Left back options. Calafiori, Skelly, Hinkapie, Timber. I don't want to see Timber as a left back ever in my life. As long as he plays for Arsenal, don't want to see him as a left back ever in my life. Because if it comes down to that, you know that Arteta has screwed up big time. Big up the doctor. Big up le doctor. Big up le doctor. And now the season begins, basically. With Calafiori, with Gabriel, yeah, definitely. It is a bit of a worry, definitely. It is a bit of a worry. 100%. Well, so we'll see. But it's definitely not a good sign. Definitely, it is not a good sign if we are looking at it from that lens, without shadow of doubt. Give me a sec. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Definitely, it's gonna be interesting. Very interesting. Hope you're doing well today, Doctor. Hope you're doing well today, Doctor. And also, invitation stands. If you have some free time and you want to jump on, the link is in the group chat. You can definitely click it. Timber is Barrett, right? Exactly. Hence why I don't want to see him as a left back. Timber definitely has held it down so far. Definitely, Timber has held it down to the some very, very high standards, to say the least. Left back, we'll see. We'll see. Skelly's not injured. He didn't even go to England national team. He didn't get a call up. Kinkapie, who knows what's going to happen with him at his national team. Calafiori, reports say that Calafiori should be back for the Spurs game. We'll see about that one. So definitely there are some issues. At the same time, the defensive depth we have and the defensive part of the team is the one I am the least worried about, so to speak. If it was in midfield, let's just say Rice got injured, and if it was an attack and that, I am more worried. Defense somehow bothers me. Well, I don't want to say less per se, but it definitely doesn't bother me as much in these instances. Let's just put it that way. Definitely doesn't bother me as much. Big up, Wahaha. Big up, Wahaha. Hope you're doing well today. Big up. But yeah, people, to the matter at hand. And that is, of course, Sharks swimming around Arsenal, and they are catching up. That is the thing. Are we going to see another Arsenal versus Manchester City title race? Are we going to see it again? 2 times we have seen how Arsenal fall short. Will it be the same the third time? Who has the better squad? What will happen? Has Arsenal and Mikel Arteta learned from these 2 experiences when they were dealing with Manchester City? That is the big question, because despite all the flagsmanship and all the PR, Arsenal fans, well, big part at least, are trying to push that this team is in a prime position to beat Man City. We have the best, highest depth in the league. Arsenal have the best team to capitalize as soon as Man City fall off. Like, if you have to hope for opponents' injuries and opponents' failure in the first place, it just shows that you actually don't believe it. Your team is not good enough. Let's just put it that way. That's at least my opinion on it. But hey, go figure. Big up, Anthony. Big up. We are screwed, Man City. It's also yep. And we have royalty in the house once again. Big up, Johnny. Big up.
Big up, my guy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Evening times, chill times. Gabriel injured.
Yeah, I saw that. Unbelievable.
Worried?
If it's long term, then absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's long term, there goes a big question for the season, to be quite honest with you, because like you said, he's the main guy that we're always depending on as the target man for being in the box for these set piece ole bullshit. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, no, other than that, we'll see. I mean, and Calafiori's hurt too. I don't know if he's playing this game because I guess he's been nursing a hip injury. So we'll end up seeing what happened. I mean, him I'm not worried about. I would actually prefer Hincapie as the left back over Calafiori, but if Magalhaes goes down for a while, that's a major problem.
It's scary hours. Like, I was thinking about this, what we're going to do sometimes when some of these main guys get injured. Like, as I just said about a few minutes ago, ironically enough, the defense is the part I'm least worried about because we have, in my opinion, at least adequate and proper depth there, mostly. If let's just say we replace Gabriel with Declan Rice in this spot, we are screwed royally. Like,
I see. I hear that, but I think whether the defense is better overall. The problem is the drop off of level of the starting 11 to the bench. Yeah. I don't, Mosquera has shown to be decent so far, but to throw a first year a first-year young player in a new country under the bus and be, if for argument's sake, if it's long term, like you're taking over for Gabriel Magalhaes for, let's say, 3 months. I'm not convinced. I'm not too keen on that. I'm not too keen on that because for me, what will end up happening is this manager will make it even more pragmatic than what the team is right now. And then we're really going to have a problem scoring goals to where it could rear its ugly head like it was last year where, yeah, we only had about 3-4 losses, but we had about damn near 15 draws. So, and that's the flip side of what could hurt right now. It's not just losses, it's also preventing draws and not having the same BS style of play going forward and not finding the back of the net like we did last year.
Yeah. 100%. But for me, it will be interesting for me, like, if Gabriel is out, center back, Mosquera, Hincapié, or Calafiori, who would you want to see there?
If Calafiori's not hurt, I want Hincapié to be the center back. Hincapié for me, I think it's first dibs over Mosquera simply because he's been there and done it as far as winning a league and being a big part of that defense. Big part of that defense for Leverkusen when they won. So the recency bias, I'm giving it to him. Mosquera's look good, but like I said, I don't want a first timer. Yes, Hincapié is a first timer in first year at the club as well, but at least he's proven in the aspect of he was a big part of that back line winning the Bundesliga for Leverkusen. Mosquera, he's just been playing okay so far. I don't want to risk his growth and everything else by throwing so much pressure on him.
Yeah, no Calafiori at center back?
Absolutely not.
Well, he plays there for Italy, to be fair. Like, he actually does decently there for Italy. Like, we don't see him, to be honest, that much at Arsenal.
I don't rate Calafiori to begin with. The thing that I don't understand where everybody got all hyped up on Calafiori, they all forgot he was injured for half the year when Bologna qualified for the Champions League under Thiago Motta. He scored
the Euros hype.
In the Euros, he made the one pass.
But that's all you need these days, to be honest. One pass, media, that's it.
But that's my point why the guy's overrated. Because as soon as they get rid of him and they replaced him with Nicolo Casale, they went on to win the Coppa Italia last year. So the defense was even better without him. So, again, for me, I'm not too keen on Calafiori.
Yeah, for me it was confusing. 45 million for one of the arguably worst injury records I have seen to some extent for such a young guy as well. It was a weird signing in that regard. And when he played for Arsenal, offensively at least he can give us something. Defensively, that is like, at some point it's gonna cost us big time. Like, that's what at least how I feel about Calafiori defensively, at least. 100%. But yeah, main topic for today. The Blue Shark. The Blue Sharks are, well, let's be real, 4 points, that's striking distance. That's them pretty much nothing for Man City if we look from the past. So do you think it's going to be 2-horse race once again, or Liverpool will get their stuff together and close it all up?
I'm not going to rule Liverpool out, but at this current point in time, Liverpool needs to, as soon as they come back from international break, they have to go on like a 6-7 game run for them to hop back in. So I think Liverpool right now is a work in progress. Man City and us, definitely. It's striking distance, but I've said this, and maybe this sounds a little bit top Goonerish to say, but in my personal opinion, I think this title comes down to Arteta. I'm standing by this. Manchester City, everybody's talking about this, but forgets that midfield, that power, that four straight titles is no longer here.
Yeah,
it's no longer here. Rodri, listen, he was the invincible man for so long for them, and now he's starting to look at these injuries. So we don't know if Rodri's a guarantee, which fingers crossed, but now, at the same time, and it must be spoken about, that Nico Gonzalez is making huge strides. in that position right now for them. But Bernardo Silva is not the player that he was 2-3 years ago. He's not the same player. Foden, as good as he looks so far, again, Foden's form could drop off a cliff for a season the way that it's been, the way that it was last year. So for me, I think this title is all on Arteta. We have to force the issue this year in order to win, because for me, I think even though we've seen Pep been there and done it, and we know what City's done, but a lot of this City team is not the true proven City team like we've seen in the past. There's a lot of new faces there, and they have to get over the obstacles of learning to win again as a team as well. Now, do they have class players? Absolutely. Are players playing at a better level than what we've seen the last year for City? Absolutely. Jeremy Doku looks like a completely different player right now. And obviously for me, I think one thing that does benefit City is they have one of the best shot stoppers in the world in Donnarumma, who I think is a much better goalie than Ederson as far as shot stopping. So that has to be said as well. So, but for me, Ruben Diaz is not the same player he was 3 years ago. His form has dropped off. John Stones, I mean, the guy may not even play with all his injury problems, but again, not the same. So, and they don't have the reliable Kyle Walker to match up against another team's fastest player down the wing. So the guys that are, tied to that run that Manchester City went on, for 4 years, they're no longer there, or they're much older and now not in the same form as they were. So for me, this title is all in Arteta's hands. It's all on to Arteta from this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that 100% because the team is not the same. To be honest, midfield almost at all, pretty much, if you're looking from that point of view. And Arsenal, well, we have done it both ways. Pause and all that stuff, of course, but like we've been the chasers, we've been the leaders, and at the end of the day, we have fallen short. And you could argue both of the times the issue was, well, not 100%, but about 70% has been the manager. With the tactics, with the style, with the substitutions or lack of them, in some cases, with the signings that are not, definitely raises more questions than gives answers at the end of the day. It will be interesting because this team hasn't won anything as a unit, and they don't know what it takes to win. They have always been technically in a reaching distance, but somehow they just have never gone. They haven't gone to it whatsoever. So they have won individually, that's great, but as a unit, it's a different story. And for me, that is a worry, and especially if the injuries start piling up again. And I don't know where we go from here, because obviously everyone's saying first things first, we need to win the Carabao Cup, right? So at least we know something how we have to win, and then we can go up. We can go afterwards. But now looking at this Carabao Cup, I don't even know. Like, to some extent, I don't even know, because our performances in Carabao Cup have not been the greatest as well. Not to be honest, whole season haven't been great performances, but we have gone it over the line to more or less. For example, against Brighton, like 3-4-0 should have been down the first 20 minutes. We could have been out easily there, and we somehow caught life. But we have Palace in the quarterfinals, right? Again,
we got Palace. Yeah, we played Palace, and they just knocked out Liverpool.
Yeah, Glasner is a cup coach. Like, at least it feels that way. When do we play Palace? December 23rd, just before Christmas. Oh, it could be a very long Christmas if we lose. Very long Christmas for all of us.
We have to hit the ground running and at least get 7 points out of the next 3 games between Tottenham and Chelsea, and I'm forgetting who the other one is. It Brentford?
Brentford at home, and then it's Villa away.
We need to get 7 points before we play Villa. I know
7?
Villa has not gotten off to the start that a lot of us thought about, but as Spurs have been the bogey team for City for however many years, ever since Unai Emery's popped up at Villa's been the bogey team for Arsenal. We do not have a good record against Villa ever since.
To be fair, Villa are 6th in the table.
Yeah.
and only 8 points behind us.
Yep.
And 3 points behind. Well, 1 point behind top four. They had a very slow start, but they kicked into gear very rapidly.
Yep.
After the break. So.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that's our bogey team. You know,
Yeah.
I said this big up to Waffle Don. I was on his show Monday and we were talking about this, and he said, "You're making me a little nervous about Villa." We don't have a good track record against Villa since Unai Emery's taken over. We don't. Villa we don't have that great of a record against Villa. I think we we won one last year and then blew the 2-0 lead at the Emirates.
Which year did Emery join? 20. I don't remember even.
We lost 2-0 to them in where we screwed up when we lost by 2 points to City.
Yeah.
That was the Porto Villa and West Ham week.
Yeah.
For us up. But Unai Emery's given us some problems with this Aston Villa team. So I want us to get 7 points. I mean, I would love all 9 points, but at least 7 points, because us going to Stamford Bridge with not knowing what the injury situation is going to be a little bit tougher than it was before. So I want to get at least 7 points with the next 3. And if we get 7, I think we're fine going into it. And then obviously, you know, December starts with the crazy amount of games. And this is normally where the tough part of the season starts for Arsenal. You know, I said this again on Waffle Dons. I said, we always start out good. Every single one of these seasons where we finish second, we start well. It's December, January, and February that are the 3 months that always, you know, derail us to a certain degree. So, you know, this is the tough point of the season. And this is why it's going to come down to Arteta.
Yeah, 100%. Now that you mentioned it, right, about Emery and Villa, he joined November 1st, 2022. Mm-hmm. Since then, we have 5 games, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we lost both times to them that season when we finished 2 points behind.
Yes.
That was that infamous 1-7 in December when we went.
Yep. And the draw, we blew a 2-0 lead at the Emirates last year. Remember, there was the Ollie Watkins goal and Yuri Tielemans, the smallest guy on the pitch, got a header goal against us. You know, within, I think it was 10 minutes of the 2 goals to where they tied it up. And then obviously we thought
that mistake. It was mistake from Tielemans, something like that. I think.
Yeah. Rice was caught out of position because he was trying to cover the ground for Jorginho, because they started Partey at right back that game.
Oh, the infamous right back party time. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. And Villa had a couple other chances to that game. It wasn't just that, but you know, again, they've been the bogey team for us since he's popped up at Aston Villa. So, you know, I want to get the maximum amount of points as we can in these next 3 games. But obviously, these injuries are going to tell the tale as well. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah, I totally get it. Like, that was also last year when we went to Villa Park. Watkins missed fully empty net.
Yep.
Uriah made a double save as well. And that was still while it was 0-0 or 1-0 Arsenal.
It was 1-0. It was the second game of the year last year when we played Villa Park, I believe. So and we barely got out with that win. So you know, that's what I mean. They play us tough, and we got to play them twice in December.
Yeah, home and away and at home. Yeah. Early December and late December. It's like instantly. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be long. You say 7 points out of first 3. Which game do you see us dropping points then?
Chelsea.
Away? Just because of last few years?
Just because of the last few years, and it's always the history of Arsenal in the recent era has always had problems at Stamford Bridge. You know, and again, we don't know what the situation is with the injuries. You know, so because we've been lucky that we do have the best defense so far this season with some of the shit performances that we've put in going forward. So, you know, now if the defense is getting weaker and we don't start really getting going the way we need to playing football, then we're going to have some problems. And I think Chelsea is the team that can always screw us up. when we get a little bit thrown off our game. So that's the only one. Besides that, we should be beating Brentford, and I'm sorry, we should be beating Spurs 2-3-0. I'm sorry. I think, were you on Aaron's call-in show? I said it early in the season. I said, I don't think Thomas Frank makes it the full year for Spurs. I don't rate him as a manager. I think Thomas Frank had a nice little hot start, and now people are starting to just catch on to what he's doing with Spurs, and it's been a shit show on that team. So I don't believe in Thomas Frank, so I think we should be going there and putting a hurting on these guys at least.
Yeah, we should. Like, to be honest, they are fifth at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But go figure. Too close to tell. That one win separates them from 13th. Like, it's not that's very close at the moment in that regard. But yeah, I expect us to win against Spurs, but I don't know. Something doesn't feel right against the Spurs. I at the moment, obviously, it's not the injury specifically. I just cannot put my finger on what. But that preseason game also wasn't the greatest, was it?
No.
In those terms, and
no,
I don't know. Like, if I think about Chelsea and all these games, and it's especially if Gabriel is injured, and I think about Estevao against Calafiori and whoever plays that left side, it is worrying. It is definitely worrying in that regard. But to be honest, that Chelsea game is too far away to tell. At the moment, like, technically speaking, it's like 2 weeks away, a bit more than that. And if we get more injuries,
do
you expect more injuries? Very near future, not long future, but near future.
I don't want to say yes. I think maybe injuries come in December when the games pile up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not so much right now, but this is, again, it's down to the manager. Injuries, everything else comes down to the manager. If he's going to learn to actually do some, allowing players some rest. Everybody was complaining about Saka put in another 90 minutes for England on international break, and it's like, bro, Tuchel's got no love for Arsenal or any of these other teams. Tuchel's playing to try to show that he could win a World Cup so that he could stay, at the level that people expect Thomas Tuchel to be at as one of the best managers in the world. So he's got no loyalty to any of the club teams as far as if he's going to play these players. So for me, it's coming down to Arteta is if he's going to be able to keep these guys fresh and not, depleted as such. All of our worries is Rice, because Rice looks like he's ready to pass out after the end of every single game. So, there could be a problem that comes up. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, at some point. Like, for me, that is a big worry, because if Rice if he gives up, like you mentioned, these steel players who never got injured, Mr. Indestructibles like Rodri, right? It sounded very similar like what happened with Saka. Like, always on point, nothing happens, and then one injury and
it's downhill from there.
Yeah, snowball effect instantly. I'm worried about this with Gabriel as well, because I'm reading now. Obviously, we know that Gabriel was substituted off, right, with the groin injury. But they are saying that yesterday, when Brazil was doing their final training session at Emirates Stadium before the game, Gabriel already did his warm-up separately from the rest of the group, because they were trying to manage his load. Now, I'm not saying he already was injured then, but there could be some indications that already something was under some questions. I just put it that way, from lack of a better word. And I never thought that Ancelotti would risk him like that, especially before. Like, I expect that from Mikel, but go figure afterwards. Like,
Ancelotti's not guaranteed. Has Brazil completely qualified yet?
Brazil? I don't even know, to be honest.
If Brazil hasn't qualified yet, because I know they were having some issues with how the team was playing. So I don't know if they've completely qualified. But I mean, I'll say the same thing for Ancelotti. He doesn't have any allegiance to Arsenal or any of these other clubs in order to play these players.
No, they have qualified.
Oh, they have qualified?
It was just a friendly against Senegal.
Oh, that is interesting then. But again, at the same time, if the players get sent there in the red where they're where they've hit their limit, you can't get mad at one of the international coaches for trying to still try to play them and get through,
Yeah.
So it's, again, that comes down to the manager. That's why I'm trying to say that it's big up Taryn. But
I mean,
yeah, but it's again, it's the same thing with Calafiore. Calafiore wasn't even left on the
yeah.
okay.
But it is
Calafiore,
like this. It is like this.
yeah.
Like, it's not Ancelotti's job to rest, and that what bothers me as well with Tuchel, because it's the same with Rice, with Eze, with Saka, because they see him limited time amount for the limited. Mikel sees them for whole year pretty much.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way, and out there see them for like handful of times basically. And I think that is the biggest issue here, because they have to play them. They need to figure out what is what, how it works, doesn't work, and especially with Tuchel, since he's a new manager at the wheel, as they say. They need to figure out the style, the system, tactics, patterns, everything that goes into all of this. In that regard, definitely. But yeah, Arsenal versus Man City. Do you think it's gonna be the same story again? Overall, at the end of the season, let's just say. It's a very vague question at the moment, because we don't know anything. It's only 10 games, 11 games, technically.
Yeah, I'm gonna respectfully say that I wouldn't be comfortable of answering that question until probably between match day 22 and 25.
So end of January.
Once we've seen a full run through of everybody in the league, where we've played everybody and we're starting to go through the second matches now against all the teams, I think I would be more comfortable in saying that. I think when we're talking about this as far as, the quote unquote context, I think the squad is much better for Arsenal overall than what it was when we lost out by 2 points. I think the squad overall is better. Again, my thing is that it's going to come down to the manager. It's the manager is making everybody play differently and more defensive than what is needed for certain positions. I mean, again, as the one thing I will give some credit to Arteta is that he has changed from that 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. But the problem is that even though he's changed the formation, Eze still having to track back to get the ball very deep in our own territory, which is not where a number 10 should be.
Gyökeres does that as well.
But that's what I'm getting to as far as the point. The number 10 should be further up to where as soon as he gets the ball, he should be looking to hit Saka or Trossard or Martinelli on the left and start getting some interchangeable link-up play with Gyökeres so we can open up the defense for Gyökeres. I just think that the way he's playing in the offensive phase of the game is so overbearingly over-controlled because he's got so much worry defensively. And I think that's the problem that's holding this team back to why we can't score goals the way we should be. I think Saka no longer should be a touchline winger. I don't think Trossard should be a touchline winger. I don't think Martinelli should be a touchline winger. I think if we can be a more compact team, and I'm meaning going forward to where instead of wingers, everybody underneath the striker are number 10s. There's a left side 10, a center 10, and a right 10. But if we allow Saka to come into the middle more, we can let Eze float to the left or float to the right, or let Trossard come into the middle more. I think with a little bit, if we can make this offense a little bit more unpredictable than just the standard of what we're used to seeing week in and week out, I think that goes a long way with this team, because I think squad-wise, this team is much better. But if we're just going to play this same pragmatic crap, I don't know. I think if we stick to that, I think we open the door for City to make it for history to repeat itself and City catch us and go on to win the league. I think that's the big key here. And what you also said earlier about the winning mentality, I think the Carabao Cup is mandatory. If we don't win the League Cup, I will say this: if we don't win the League Cup, I don't think Arsenal wins the league. In my opinion, I think if we can't show that we have the winning mentality to knock out the early trophy and assert ourselves and say, we're here, this is our year, and we're going to push forward and win the Premier League, I don't think we do it, because I'm not listening to none of this bullshit about the Champions League. Arsenal's not winning the Champions League. Again, Arsenal, I believe in heritage when it comes to Champions League. And I think Arsenal needs to go through a similar situation of City, where they need to win a few Premier League trophies and some other domestic trophies for them to build the winning mentality up before we can say that this team's going to go on and win the Champions League. I don't think this is an Arsenal team that's going to go hit a one-off on the Champions League at all this year, if I'm being completely honest. So I think at the end of the day, once again, it's all going to come back down on the manager.
Yeah, fully agree, to be honest. Fully agree. And that for me is the weird thing as well. Like you mentioned about these touchline wingers and everything. Like as they came on against who did they even play? Serbia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually fantastic to watch. Like completely different to what we see at Arsenal. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something similar what we saw from him against under Glasner at Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is these questions are always rise for me, because will Arteta see this and learn from it? Because there have been countless examples of how to use certain players that play for us to the maximum of their abilities, to make them flourish, to make maybe us more dangerous, more threatening. And they never do that at Arsenal. Never, ever. And that for me is the thing. We need to create some chaos in the attack, at least, because we are very controlled. Oh, Gianni went somewhere. And yeah, we are very controlled in the attack, but we need some chaos overall. We need some chaos in general.
There's some chaos right there. I don't know what.
Yeah. We need some chaos, personally, for me. I know we need some controlled chaos, but let loose. Let the shackles off. Let it go. Allow freedom, free roaming in the attack, open spaces. That's what we need. And kind of doesn't feel like we have it sometimes at all. Obviously, everyone plays low block. It's very hard to have, but you should have something to do it again. Find how to break it down from open play, because everyone's going to scream set pieces and corners in the chat in a second. So I have to put a disclaimer in that regard there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It feels like Arteta, technically, on paper, in interviews, he says that he watches the games, he follows everything, he learns, he scouts and does all this stuff. But when I watch us play, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
It somehow doesn't feel like that. It's like complete opposite. We are the same, if not worse sometimes even.
Worse. I think if you took all three teams and made them play one another, I think the team from 22-23 would whip this year's team's ass and the team from last year's ass.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest with you, they would beat up the team as well that finished 2 points behind City because of the attacking play. I completely disagree. He's not watching that. He's not watching it because you can see it with the players. Everybody's playing further and further away from the goal out on the wings.
Yeah.
When we first got Trossard from Brighton and we threw him in as the false nine to replace Gabby Jesus when he was hurt, we were basically copying. If you go back and see how the team was playing, we were playing the same formation that Carlo Ancelotti had recently played with Real Madrid. It was a 4-4-2. The middle three was there. Trossard basically played a number 10 position, and Saka and Martinelli were just making diagonal runs and playing as two strikers, more so than actual wingers. They were in between a striker and two number 10s out on the side. We were much more we were compact, but we made the game much more easier and played to our players' best of their abilities. Since then, Martinelli's gone to shit because he's not a touchline winger. Yeah. And he's not a player that should be playing a defensive role at all. He should be playing as a striker. That's what we got him. That's what we got him as, was a striker. Same thing with Trossard. We had to consolidate for Trossard because of how well he did the season previous. And again, He doesn't watch the games because he should have seen that throwing Gabby Jesus back too early and removing Trossard from the starting 11 in 22-23 was the biggest reason why we didn't win.
Yeah. Man of the match performances and then holds the bench instantly afterwards.
Trossard was about to win 2 straight Premier League Players of the Month when he came to Arsenal. It was derailed because he had to throw Gabby Jesus back early because Gabby Jesus is his guy.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So for me, I disagree with him saying, "Oh, I watch the games." He watches the games for certain aspects to see. I think maybe to go over and see what he thinks is right and be happy that they're playing certain parts of the game in his way, and he appreciates that. But anybody with common sense can see the derailment of this offense from 22-23 to present day. It's gotten significantly worse.
Yeah, 100%. Because I still maintain this thought process that our players are not as bad as we see them play on the pitch. Because for me, the measuring stick pretty much is the 22-23 season, because that has been the best football, the best performances from at least attacking players, 100%. I have seen us play in Arteta's time, at least if we just take the exact sample size of Mikel Arteta. So
do a sample size of just this season.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just look at the 30 minutes against Atletico.
Yeah.
The 30 minutes of Atletico should be the standard of what we're playing every game.
Yeah.
100%. And if you look at how we attacked Atletico, the wingers were closer to the striker. That's how we were able to create havoc and score so many goals that fast. Then as soon as we scored the fourth one, it was basically, all right, game's over at this point, and we just sat back. But it's, and that's what I mean. You could forget 22-23. We just saw 30 minutes of it. Why are we doing this to Atletico Madrid, but we can't do this to anybody else, and not in the Premier League when there's significant teams that are nowhere near as good as Atletico Madrid is in the Premier League, but we're struggling to beat them, but we just did that to Atletico.
Yeah, it was something similar like in the 23-24 season when, that was that infamous Aston Villa season we talked about previously, that 1-7 in December and everything. Somehow we go to Dubai, we come back, and all of a sudden we can go 16-1-1, 5-1s, 4-0s, blitz everyone. How comes we didn't see that before? Why Gabriel was holding bench in the first games of the season, Thomas Partey was playing right back all of a sudden? Why Partey at all played right back? That's another question. But we have seen that Arteta can do it. Last year against PSG as well, when we won at home. It was something like 4-4-2 with Trossard as a secondary type of striker and everything. Yes, they didn't have Dembele or Kvaratskhelia, but still, it worked. And so we have seen that Arteta can do it. He can allow us to attack, take the shackles off, play attacking football, change some things. But are the scars that deep for him? Have they not fully healed after all these years? Is he still afraid? I just cannot figure this out. Like, it feels very weird. I'm telling you, it's the mental thing at the end of the day. It's the mental thing for the manager and for the players, because the players show what manager is doing. Players represent manager on the pitch, and it's not been great in that regard. Definitely not been great. And for us to win Carabao Cup, we need to win a semi-final first. We haven't won a semi-final since we won the FA Cup. Like that for me has been one of my flagships when I talk about Arteta and winning trophies. Like, since that winning that FA Cup, 8 semifinals, 0 wins, 2 draws, 6 losses, 2 or 3 goals scored, and one of them was a penalty at the end of the day. It alone, that for me screams mental aspect more than anything. Obviously, out tactic a tiny bit, but you cannot tell me that if we played something similar what we did in 22-23 season against PSG, it would have been the same result. It wouldn't be that toothless and everything. Like, it wouldn't be the same, especially since he has blown this amount of money on defense, like insane, like 1/3 of the budget alone on the defense. When he's gonna start to trust them? Because we see defenders defend as collective, as a team. Let them defend also one-on-one. Take a risk. Let them attackers be in the attack for a change. Because Saka, few years ago, said in an interview that Arteta wants his attackers to defend first and then only attack, which pretty much says it all. Where the mindset is at for this manager, for this team, and one of the reasons why we are basically struggling to win any trophies at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how it feels like at the moment.
100%.
But
100%.
yeah.
100%. He's not. Those who know and watch La Liga, Arteta is starting to look, well, not starting, especially after last year, but he's got Arsenal being limited to the same way Julian Lopetegui limited Sevilla. Sevilla was the same thing the 2 years during COVID when they ran all the way till the end of the season with Real Madrid, Atletico, and Barca. They had a shot at winning La Liga and fell away the last 4 games because he held back the offense. He was so rigid in his defensive structure with that Sevilla team, he couldn't get the offense that he needed in order to get the points. And that's what's happening. The same thing with Arteta. We've had a good start. Again, we've had a good start the last 3 years that we finished second place. It's this period now. When we walk into December, January, and February, this is always the tough part for Arsenal. So it's like you said, we'll see if he gets over the mental block. If he doesn't, hopefully this is the end. This will be the last year of him, and we can move him on and salvage the time that we need with a better manager because clock's ticking.
Yeah. You think January window can play a role in this?
He should not get a single signing. He should not get a single signing. He should not get a single signing. I'm sorry. He spent $1 billion. He spent £1 billion.
Well, that's true, yeah.
There's no more. No. There's no more excuses. There's no more excuses. Win with what you got. Win with what you've got. You spent £1 billion. You claim that this is the best team. Your supporters claim that it's the best team in the world and that nobody's going to beat us. And this is the year where Arsenal's going to do a quadruple and do all this other stuff. No. He does not deserve another dollar. He does not deserve another dollar at all. I'm sorry, man. The only only one way that I would allow anybody to get purchased for Arteta is if the injury list got so bad that we were just grabbing kids from the youth academy that had to start playing. Like similar, do you remember? I think it was the year after Liverpool won the title with Klopp. They had all those injuries and they started bringing up all the young kids and everything up.
And they still beat us.
Huh?
They still beat us in that cup.
Correct. But what I'm saying is if it's a situation like that where we have to salvage because guys are gone for the end of the season and we're calling youth academy kids up, that's the only time I'm clearing him to go get another 1 or 2 players to add to the team. Other than that, absolutely not. You've gotten $1 billion. You've gotten $1 billion. Go win with what you got.
But he has already few those youngsters already in the team and he still doesn't use them.
Exactly.
That maybe, and again, only when he's forced to do so, then he only uses them. But let's just say randomly, January transfer window, we can sign, for example, as we have talked about this on the stream as well, Kenan Yildiz, 70 million.
70 million, I'm doing it.
See, but you don't want to give Arteta any money.
I don't.
Yeah, but it's for the future, for the next manager and everything, if you're thinking like that.
Again, if it was to where Trossard, Martinelli, Wanyeri all went down before that, and that was who was there, then I would say okay. But no, he doesn't. He does not deserve Yildiz. The next manager deserves Yildiz or what he needs to add and change to the team. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather Arteta win with his squad now and prove that he is owed, that he not owed, but deserves a little bit more money in order to add or round off to the team in the offseason after he's already brought home a Premier League and maybe one other domestic trophy. But if that's not the case, no. No. If we have a full squad going into January 1st, no. You don't get any money. You don't get any money. Win with what you got. It's £1 billion, man. Because here's the problem with that scenario. When do you say is enough's enough?
Exactly. At what point the money is gonna stop bleeding money with no return?
And me and Shane were talking. Shout out to Shane Gooner. Me and Shane were talking. We were messaging each other earlier today. since 2019, Arsenal has spent more money than City.
Yeah.
So for the last 6 years, we've spent more money than City and have won fuck all outside of the one FA Cup. So, for me, no, man, I'm sorry. He doesn't deserve any more money. If
totally get
Yildiz
it.
doesn't move, if Yildiz doesn't go to Arsenal in the winter, he'll still be at Juventus, and I doubt they will sell him, especially now that they just got Spalletti as the manager. I doubt that they sell Yildiz, so at least in the winter time. So,
Yeah,
for me, save the money. Arteta, prove us wrong. If you don't prove us wrong, new manager comes in, we give them a budget.
Yeah. Small side note. Think Spalletti will do good at Juventus?
No.
For me, that was the big thing. Why did they sign Spalletti? That for me is a weird one. Kind of, I get why, but also I don't get why. That for me was a weird one.
Well, they signed Spalletti because, one, Spalletti is a reliable set of hands as a manager. He's known to stabilize clubs when they've had tumultuous situations. He did it with Inter Milan. He did it with Napoli. He did it at Rome. So he's a safe pair of hands. The reason why I say no is Juventus doesn't have any money. He's working with bare bones with that squad. And the bigger problem with that team is that team and ownership is still trying to figure out what they're going to do with where they're going to go. That Juventus has been trying to preach this. We're going to start playing more open attacking football and leave the pragmatic football behind. When they started with hiring Maurizio Sarri.
But that didn't work for them. But they don't do that too much.
No. They didn't give Sarri a chance. He won them a Scudetto. The problem was that they won the Scudetto, didn't play good football, and said, okay, now we're going to try to play with Pirlo as a coach instead of Sarri, because Sarri didn't get along with a couple players in the locker room. They went with Pirlo, and then same thing. First 5 games, he tried playing open attacking football. They didn't do good. Okay, so now we're going to go back to pragmatic. And that's been Juventus. They're not giving anybody a chance to try to play open attacking football. But the other problem is they don't have the money. So, for me, I think Spalletti could go there and maybe stabilize the team for a season. But overall, no, I don't think this guy is gonna do anything with Juventus to shock anybody. I think if he gets Juventus to finish 4th this year, I think it's a huge job for Spalletti to do this.
Yeah. But do you think if Juventus finish outside of top 4, will there be a fire sale at the club?
No, they can't afford to.
They cannot, but will they?
No. They'll sell Yildiz. For a shit ton of money, but I don't see anybody else going. I mean, if someone's dumb enough to go to Juventus and spend north of 30 million for Vlahovic, you're just an idiot. Because he ain't
with his wages, no thanks in the first place, but overall,
brother, it doesn't matter if Vlahovic was only getting paid 15,000. The guy sucks.
What if we signed him? We wanted him a few years ago.
Yeah, because everybody was buying into the hype. The guy's
that's
trash.
always the thing, though. We did that with Merino and Calafiori. That has worked well. We do the same thing.
True. But the problem with Vlahovic is there's been more footage of him being trash. Vlahovic is a one-trick pony. He gets hot for 15 games. He'll rack up goals and assists like crazy, and then he's shit for the rest of the year.
Well, that is the case. Like, go figure.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't. If it was one of our rivals that went out to go get Vlahovic, go ahead, spend and lose some of your capital, so it's less opportunity to go get another player. But for me, no, I wouldn't even touch Vlahovic. Yildiz and Conceição are the only 2 players at Juventus that if Arsenal was looking specifically at the Juventus team to buy, it would be those 2, and then maybe Manuel Locatelli, and then maybe Federico Gatti for backup for defense.
Didn't we want Locatelli like 7 years ago or something weird like
when
that?
he was with Sassuolo? Yeah.
We wanted him at the time. And why we didn't go for Conceição? That was a loan turned into a proper deal. Why didn't we go for him? Would have been good backup.
Because because we wanted Nori Madueke, who cost a lot more.
Wait, didn't Conceição go on loan last year? We sent Sterling instead.
Conceição went on loan to Juventus last year, but Juventus made the buy deal this year. Juventus wasn't able to buy him on the obligation. They had to renegotiate. So there was an opportunity to buy Conceição this year. Juventus is so broke, they had to broker a deal to where they would pay $32 million for Conceição, but they were going to pay it in installments of $8 million a season. That's how broke they are. So we could have legitimately got Conceição for $10 million as a down payment. Conceição is better than any winger we have. He's better than any winger we have. As far as creativity and dribbling, he's the best.
More or less, pretty much, yeah.
He's better than anybody. Saka obviously is miles ahead of him as far as a finisher, and so is Trossard and Martinelli. But as far as what we need with our biggest problem of not having guys to break down, low blocks, Conceição would have been the perfect guy to get to come in and open up the low blocks. But
technically both wings as well. Yeah. Technically speaking. Yeah. Max Daumann.
I don't know. That's a toss-up. Daumann is freaking good.
Yeah.
Listen, for me, I think Daumann should be the permanent left winger, in my opinion. I think he should be permanently starting. I don't give a shit if the kid's 15 years old. We need some flair going forward.
But we're going to see Eze there in a bit. Odegaard is coming back. You know that Eze is going to play there most likely.
Listen, if he forces Eze to go play the left wing and he moves Odegaard to the number 10, he's setting us up for failure again this year. In my opinion, I don't think Odegaard should ever start for this team again, unless it's a cup game. If it's an FA Cup or League Cup, cool. If it's a throwaway group stage game in the Champions League, cool. Besides that, no. He should not be. I don't think Odegaard should ever start for this team again now that we got Eze.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but that's the thing. Where will Eze play when Odegaard comes back? Because Odegaard is the Capitan, El Capitan. He's not going to get dropped whatsoever. And Eze also hasn't been great, but that's a different story, to be honest. That's a different story for different
time. That's on the manager. That's on the manager to why he hasn't been great.
Yeah, because he looks completely opposite under Tuchel. Go figure. But left. You think Max Daumann for left wing? Really?
Absolutely.
Maybe Saka for left wing, Daumann for the right? Well, depends how you look. They both are left-footed anyways.
Daumann, it don't matter what foot it is.
Yeah, Daumann.
It doesn't matter what foot it is. I'm starting to see, for me, my thing is this. I want...
Odegaard's much better than Eze.
No, he's
For
not.
me, he's not. For me as well.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. If we're going off the okay, here, perfect example. Martin Odegaard had great numbers the 2 years where the handbrake wasn't on him. Guess what? The truth is that the handbrake is on Odegaard. He's not allowed to go running into the box the way he did those 2 years where he scored double-digit goals. So if he doesn't have the license to run into the box and shoot and create the way he did 2 years ago, I'm sorry, Odegaard's not better than Eze. And we're seeing it right now because Eze's being held back. If Eze's playing in number 10, why is this guy coming only 10 yards above the 18-yard box to get on top of the ball? A number 10 should be at halfway.
Yeah.
If you're playing with the true number 10. Odegaard hasn't been given the license to be able to go forward in 2 years. That's why we've seen him drop off a cliff. That's why he gets the ball, takes 8 touches, looks around, and passes the ball backwards and slows up the play immediately.
Yeah.
And Trossard has been our best left winger for the last few years. Martinelli's been dog shit. Martinelli's been out of form for the better part of 18 months. So, again, if we're going on history of what we've recently seen, again, I'm letting Daumann get the start at left wing over Martinelli.
Would be interesting. Would be amazing to see.
To be honest, I would throw Trossard as the backup striker for Gyökeres at this current point in time. Because for me,
he's best finisher in the team. Arguably.
Him and Gyökeres are the two best finishers.
Yeah.
Him and Gyökeres are the two best finishers, and he's better when he's playing more central. When he gets out on the wing, there's games where Trossard's good, but there's games where he looks completely lost.
Yeah.
I'd rather have guys who are the better finishers closer to the net than have them further away from the net, in my opinion, if that's the way that we're going to play.
Yeah. But the question, where does Martinelli fit into all of this? The wing, the striker?
He could. I mean, for me, I don't want Odegaard at this club anymore. If I'm being completely honest with you, if Gianni's brain was implanted into Berta's head, I'm getting rid of Martin Odegaard. I'm making Trossard the backup number 10 because that's his true position as a number 10. That's what he played at Brighton. He didn't play left wing at Brighton. He played a number 10 for that team. I would have Trossard as the backup for Eze, bounce Odegaard, get whatever you can for him, and bounce Havertz and have Martinelli as the backup striker for Gyökeres.
Yeah. Where is this? But would be interesting. Like, I want to see them. It's gonna be interesting because Havertz is back almost. Almost. How is that gonna fit into plans? How is that gonna fit into the team overall?
I mean, I think he's going to end up starting Havertz over Gyökeres.
So Gyökeres is gonna hold bench now.
I could see Gyökeres holding bench, and he could use the excuse that, he hasn't done what we needed, so we need him to be on the bench and use him for certain situations. I could totally see him.
He said the same straight opposite thing just before he got injured against Burnley. Gyökeres has done a fantastic job. He's doing what we asked for him and everything. Like that wouldn't work, would it? Although the fan base has goldfish type memory, so probably wouldn't work. I just put it that way.
I mean, again, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Gyökeres that I've said that I don't understand why a lot of people don't get why it's not working out with him. If you take away the fact that he's bulkier and not as fast and not as good in the air, Gyökeres is the same playing style as Aubameyang.
Yeah.
The only difference is they're both off-the-shoulder strikers. They're not hold-up play strikers. If you force them to play a false nine, Aubameyang would fit as a false nine more than Gyökeres because of his dribbling ability. And he's a much better hold-up striker than Gyökeres is. The problem with Gyökeres is Gyökeres needs to be allowed to run into space. He's the type of striker that wants to run in between the center backs and get into the space and onto the ball and have quick shots. And use his pace to his advantage. That's how he plays. Same thing that happened with Aubameyang. And again, the reason why I point to Aubameyang is, where did Aubameyang get forced to? The left wing. When we were playing with a back line of 5.
And it worked in the cup at least.
It worked. It worked
over the top balls with high line against City and Chelsea. It worked,
but it was better when it was a 3-4-3 under Emery, when him and Lacazette were both strikers. So that's the thing. Gyökeres doesn't have the pace that Aubameyang has, and like I said, doesn't have the dribbling ability. He's not. Aubameyang is way better in the air than Gyökeres is. So for me, I could totally see Gyökeres getting benched for Havertz. I could totally see it happening and saying, he hasn't worked out yet. So again, I don't know. Now, the other thing we could also throw out there is, and this is just a scenario, but there could be a way that I could see it also happening where Odegaard, if he doesn't kick off and there's pressure from the fans, that this guy may drop Havertz into the number 10 and push Eze out to the left wing, which I could see happening as well. So
that's even more depressing to some extent.
Historically, that's Havertz's best position is the number 10.
Well,
but again, it's the same. But again, it comes down to the same thing as the manager. Is the manager going to allow the players to play their true positioning? Again, the number 10 should not be having to come so far in defensively in order to get the ball.
Well, the 6, basically.
And if that's what you're going to, if you're going to basically force them to come further in to get on top of the ball, when already now we're making it so much more difficult for it to get out to the players, it doesn't matter who he puts there. You could put Odegaard there. You could put Havertz there. You could put Saka at the 10 if you wanted. You could put Nwaneri at the 10. You could put Trossard at the 10. If all of them are having to come back and play much more defensive than a number 10 is supposed to, it's going to hold the team back no matter who's there. So again, it's on the manager at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. People disagree. People definitely disagree. No, I agree with this. Gyökeres doesn't have he's not
no,
that good,
that's
but
not his job.
But he is good off the shoulder, and he's more bulkier, heavier. Let's just put it that way to some extent, which allows him to fight off defenders, which puts him in those positions. And against Leeds, we saw the prime example where he can, in open play, when he just like a steam locomotive just rushes at at defenders when they are on their back foot. It was prime example how he scored. He needs more of that at the end of the day. But against Arsenal, we don't get that. We definitely don't get that. Well, stop scapegoating Odegaard, Johnny. That's for you.
Well, Odegaard hasn't proved me wrong, so.
Well, he has had 1.5 good seasons, arguably.
No, he had 2 good years. The year that we fell short, by 2 points, and the year that we threw the 8-point lead,
overall,
he had two overall good years. People are taking me saying, "Oh, I'm going to scapegoat Odegaard." I'm sorry. No, I'm going off of what Odegaard's shown that he's been instructed by the manager. Again, it comes back to the manager. If Mikel Arteta said, "Odegaard, I don't care for you to play defense anymore like that. Stay forward and do what you did in 22-23." Odegaard should be putting up 12 goals and getting 10 assists. The way that offense played. But again, it's not on Odegaard, it's the manager. And if you're going to oblige and go with what the manager is saying, even though you know you're being held back, I'm sorry, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is like that right now, because I said this before, like 20 minutes ago, that our players are not as bad as they're playing. They are not as bad. They are not, because we have seen them being good and quite exciting and fantastic to watch. It's just the tactics, the system, the manager, how he has made them play. It's just, they're robots boxed in with no creative permission. Let's just put it that way. Calafiori has more freedom and permission to create than some of the attackers at the end of the day.
He got more freedom than anybody. The left back's got more freedom than anybody. It makes no sense.
It's backwards to some extent, yeah. But I think, it's actually kind of nuts. We cannot blame injuries. This for me is very annoying, because Saka was injured last year and Odegaard was injured last year.
Brother, you can get emotional all you want about Odegaard and everything else. This is again, you're mishearing and you're only hearing what you want to hear. Odegaard and all the players that we have are better players than what they're showing. Nobody is blaming them for that. We're blaming the manager. Again, the proof is in the pudding. We've seen the stats and we've seen it with our own eyes, the capabilities that Odegaard can have. What we're talking about is Odegaard has been absolute dog shit, same as Gabriel Martinelli, for the past 18 months because of the manager. If you want to keep playing it in your head that we're saying that they've been bad because they're just shit players, then that's on you to keep mishearing what somebody's saying. Everything comes back to the manager. The manager is the reason why these guys are not playing well. That's why we've screwed up 2 different leagues where we've had the lead.
Yeah.
If you can't tell me if we finish second place this year and we go out and hire Carlo Ancelotti in the summer to replace Mikel Arteta with this team, that Ancelotti doesn't get a team going.
But for me as well, with these 2 players specifically, Saka and Odegaard, it goes very crazy, because it was also the last year it was a thing. This year as well it is a thing. People say, oh, Saka needs Odegaard to play good. Odegaard needs Saka to play good. At the end of the day. But it's not the case, because Odegaard last year was out. Saka still, he didn't have the best performances, but GA still got put out. Odegaard is the one that didn't put anything out in terms of performances last year.
Exactly.
And if Arsenal fans want to say that we have such high-end, world-class level players, why then do we need someone to rely on for them to be good? If you are world-class, you should be able to do something by yourself. And, it's quite visible that they cannot, to a certain extent. Let's just put it that way. Fully.
Well, for one reason, it's because it's the safety net. It's the safety net for all the top Gooners to sit out here and say, for them to have a safety net for when they're proven wrong, when they overhype the team and everything else and overhype this manager, then all of a sudden it's the laundry list of excuses that they have ready to go as soon as they screw up. That's the whole thing. I've never heard, you know, you know how I know this is bullshit. We can go by an historic team. AC Milan sold Tassotti in their prime. And what, you're going to tell me Tassotti needed Baresi, Maldini, and Costa Curta needed Tassotti? No, guess what? They moved Costa Curta to the right back and got Marcel Desailly and ended up had a season where they only gave up 15 goals in a year. So, again, we're coming up with nuanced stupidity that makes absolutely no sense. Again, the manager is the reason why all these players are being held back. That's it. And here, Saka doesn't need Odegaard on the English national team. Why does Saka look good and is given space when Odegaard's not on England?
Yeah, it's Tuchel at the end of the day.
Whether it's Tuchel now or it was Southgate before, he doesn't need Odegaard. So again, that's an excuse.
Everything to protect at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a bunch of excuses to protect at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the problem is the same thing. It's the manager.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I heard this like few years ago, and I'm saying this now myself for the last 2 years that Arteta came into Arsenal to fix a mess, but not that big of an extent of a mess as people want to pen it out to be. Let's just put it that way, right? At least in my opinion. The thing is, he has fixed it. He's doing things, but at the moment, it feels like Arteta has become the mess that needs fixing. Let's just, in my opinion, to some extent. And I know it's a very weird comparison. Let's just put it that way, but it sounded better in my head. Let's just say, let's just put it that way.
I agree with you to a degree, but I'm going to add more. So you've basically set the foundation. I'll just add to it.
Okay.
I think Arteta was brought in. I think Arteta was brought in to oversee a new project with Arsenal because the Cronkies didn't give a rat's ass of what was going on for Arsenal for a period of time because they were much more focused on straightening out their situation with the LA Rams, because the NFL is the biggest sports league in the world. And the NFL brings in way more money than the Premier League ever will. So, and at the time of what was going on when Arteta was brought in, it was the fact that they were dumping a shit ton of money into moving the Rams from St. Louis to Los Angeles and spending, I think it's like $5 billion on the stadium for the LA Rams. So I think Arteta was brought in under the board's guidance of, you're going to do what you want to do with Arsenal, because he was controlled the first 2 years of not getting much money because there were much better candidates than him. But the fact of the matter is that better candidates than Arteta would have required more money, and the Cronkies were not willing to do that because their focus was getting everything straightened out with their NFL team. So for me, I think the problem at the end of the day is, well, not the problem, coming back to it, you're 100%. He was brought in to start a project to keep the club preoccupied while the Cronkies were handling their business in America with the NFL. But now, as you said, you are correct. Where he was supposed to get us over the problem, he's now the centerpiece of the problem. He has built a new team. This is a good squad with a team. But now, again, like what we've been saying this whole stream, it comes back to him. Will you get over your deficiencies? Otherwise, you're the center of the problem of why this team is not winning trophies.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why this season the penny has to drop, surely. That's why at the end of the season, what happens, the penny has to drop at the end of the day.
No more excuses.
No more
excuses.
Please, no more excuses.
No more excuses. $1 billion, again, City spent $1 billion. Pep went out there and got trophies. Liverpool, even with this $400 million they spent this year, throughout the whole course of Klopp, I don't think they've spent close to $1 billion. And they've gone out and won trophies. The jig is up.
Yeah.
The jig is up. You have to win this year.
100%. You have to win, or, well, get out. There's no other way. Can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, as they say.
Yep.
I just put it that way. But yeah, I hate to end this stream here. I genuinely hate it. It's nice having chats and talks and discussions about all of this stuff. Time just flies by, to be honest. But yeah, do you upload? Like seriously, because I haven't seen.
I haven't been able to because I haven't had enough time to. People hit me up for streams and I come on to streams when I have an opportunity. But I said to Shane, I think this Wednesday will be my first stream. Because it's coming to the end of busy season for me at work. So
let's see.
So
you can speak.
Wednesday, I believe I should be going live for the first stream.
Football, Arsenal, Serie A.
Pretty much Napoli, Arsenal, but we cover Serie A and the Premier League and maybe some of the other leagues. And maybe, I'm a big fan of hockey, so maybe we'll cover a little bit of hockey too.
NHL?
Yeah.
Nice. I see. So Shane also does the Serie A watch longs. You might be onto something there too as a team.
We're gonna do the Napoli Roma game.
Oh, nice! That should be a good game.
We're gonna do the Napoli. We're gonna do a Napoli Roma watch along for that game. That's in 2 weeks. I think it's November 30th.
Need to write that down. But yeah, people, go subscribe to Gianni. Of course, the link should be somewhere in the chat, but I have lost the thread, to be honest. But yeah, people, big up to Gianni for coming on. Thank you for sacrificing an hour or so of your life for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on.
No worries, man.
Big up to everyone in the chat. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe. Get your comments going down under the stream. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to see you all soon. Hopefully going to see Gianni also very, very soon at some point.
Yep.
Big up to you. Peace out.
Big up to the chat. Peace.